Hello and welcome to ACC 2200 Managerial Accounting. My name is Dr. Melorani. I'll be your professor for this course. This is a 15-week full summer session where we'll explore the interesting topic of managerial accounting. So before I jump into the course, let me just briefly recognize that these are highly unusual times, and I hope each of you is well. Hope each of you is in a safe place with your family or friends, and that if there's anything that interrupts that during the course of this semester, please let me know, and I will make every accommodation I can to help you get through this rather strange and challenging time, which I am quite confident we'll all be fine. And so with that said, let's just take a look at this course and how it's set up. So as you know, we're strictly online this summer, which for some of you may be new. And if it is, then I'm going to kind of walk you through how things are done in my course. So as I'm sure you're all familiar with Blackboard. So over here on the left hand, we have the different content sections. And so I'm not going to go through every one of these sections because I honestly don't use many of them. But in the syllabus section, you'll want to click on this and open up the syllabus. So I'm going to do that right now. So here's the syllabus for our course. You're going to find some things that will be helpful to you. First of all, here's my contact information. Please feel free to email me at any time. I'll try to respond within a couple of hours and certainly within a day. And any questions you have about the course, I'm happy to do it. If you want to set up some time to talk via a web chat or on the phone, happy to do that as well. Just we'll schedule a time, then we'll go from there. So there's a textbook that is helpful. You might be able to get by without it, but this is something that the school decides on. There's a series of learning outcomes, which I'll let you read through. Essentially, let me talk to you about my methodology. So what you'll see here are the grading evaluations. And basically, every week you'll have a discussion board posting that you're expected to do. There'll be a quiz every week. I'll drop you 2 lowest quiz scores. There'll be a midterm and a final. Okay, so I'll cover a chapter typically. You'll be asked to participate in discussion board questions about it, and you'll be asked to take a quiz. And I try to go over everything so that there's no surprises. But I will drop you 2 lowest quiz scores, and I expect everybody to do well. If you do the work, you'll do well in the course grade-wise. And my goal is that you learn a lot. So, I'm sorry. Here's the schedule. As I mentioned, we're going to cover about a chapter a week. It starts this week, May 4th, and we go all the way through the middle of August. So every week we'll cover a chapter. Every week we'll have a quiz. We'll have a discussion board, and if there's anything else that I can do to assist you along the way, please let me know. Okay, so going back to the Blackboard, if you click on course materials, this is what you'll see. Essential readings, textbook slides, videos, week 1 overview, and why cost matters, and then week 2, process and job costing. So I'm going to just jump into the week 1 overview and why cost matters. So here's our learning objectives for the week. Okay, again, you can read through this. I'm not going to read everything I post. Let me talk about what the requirements are. You should review chapter 1, review the materials I've posted, participate in the discussion board each week, and complete the quizzes. So the quizzes are in a separate folder up here called Semester Quizzes folder. When you click on that, you go into the week one, you'll see the week one quiz. This week, you can take it multiple times. It has to be finished by Sunday at noontime. That's Sunday, May 10th. And so now if you click on going back to week one folder, if you click into the lecture material and recordings, what you'll find here are the lecture recordings that I've done, and you'll also find posted slides. So I'm going to open up what's called lecture one here, and we'll take a look at some of the key points in that lecture. So before we jump into the textbook, I want to just kind of give you my general purpose outline of what the management accounting is about, because I think it's a crucial function in every organization. Management accounting exists in manufacturing, service, nonprofit groups, merchandising groups, and the role of the management accountant is a crucial one in organizations because the management accountant is there to help the organization make some key decisions about pricing their products or services, whether to make or buy something, what the cost of things are, so we can assess whether we make a profit or a loss. It's also there to help the organization put into place a budget and a plan, and then to control against that. And then we're there to also help with some strategic framework and decision making. So it's a very crucial role in small organizations. Might have just one financial person. He or she might be doing everything. They might be doing the financial accounting, the managerial accounting, taxes, treasury, etc. But when you look at the professional roles in the financial and accounting world, one of the key roles is management accounting. So what will we cover this semester? We'll cover the various aspects of management accounting. We'll start with why it's important to understand cost. We'll look at some of the key tools around management accounting, the cost, volume, profit analysis, differential costing, some pricing analysis, and then we'll evolve into the planning and control discussion, budgeting, control against the budget, etc. So management accounting is in the curriculum because it exists in every organization. And whether you pursue this career track or not, what you'll find is that every organization needs somebody who has understanding of the roles and responsibility of what management accounting can bring to organizations. So the learning process is, I'll try to consistently introduce a chapter, discuss the chapter, have a discussion board question on it, have a quiz on it, and then move on to the next chapter. So the key is that we want to provide insight and tools that will allow you to help the organizations understand cost and make better financial decisions. So as I mentioned, I introduced the concept, assign problems to assess understanding, and then we'll do a quiz. So what are 3 things organizations need to know? They need to know what customers want. That's a marketing and sales function. They need to know what they'll pay for it. That also falls in the realm of marketing, sales, and understanding the marketplace. And they need to know what it will cost to provide it. And that's really the role of the management accountant. Not the only role, but a key role within the organization is that we have to understand what things cost so organizations can determine some key decisions around that. And when we fail to understand cost, then it creates big problems for organizations. So key goal of management accounting, help the organization make better decisions, put processes in place for planning and control, and if we have time, excuse me, later in the semester, we'll talk about strategic cost management. So how do we determine what an organization should do? So information is the key, right? To manage organizations will need an information system integrated with strategy rather than individual tools that so far have been used largely to record the past. So later in the semester, if we get to strategic cost management, we'll look at the Porter model of strategy, which is cost leadership versus differentiation. And we'll also try to answer these questions. What profit is desired? What does something cost? What costs are being incurred versus committed? What prices are needed to achieve objectives? What's the impact on cash flow? And beyond the financial issues, what are some of the qualitative issues that we have to consider? Okay. So let me skip over a few of these slides. So as we look at the tools, as I mentioned, cost, volume, profit analysis, activity-based costing, cost of ownership, Kaizen costing. We'll look at differential analysis, pricing analysis, target costing, and then we'll look at establishing a planning and control process. We have to recognize that one size doesn't fit all organizations when it comes to budgeting and control. We have to consider the impact on human behavior and also provide timely and meaningful information. So that will be the second part of the course. So the first part is to get an understanding of cost, develop some understanding of tools. And then the second part is to develop a methodology around planning and control. Later in the semester, if time allows, we'll get into strategic cost management. Strategic cost management deals with three main elements: strategic positioning, value chain analysis, and cost driver analysis. So strategic positioning deals with, are we a cost leader or are we in a position to differentiate? And we have to recognize that this idea of cost commitment versus cost incurrence. So we commit cost by key decisions we make long before we actually spend the money. So we have to recognize that if we're going to influence the cost structure of organizations, we really need to be proactive and be involved in key strategic decisions. Okay, so the other thing that is talked about is managerial accountant versus financial accounting. And so this grid gives you a nice understanding of the different elements that come into play, the users. So managerial accounting is focused on helping internal users make decisions, where financial accounting is really designed to satisfy the needs of key external stakeholders, investors and creditors primarily. Financial accounting, you have to follow GAAP, or if you're in an international space, international financial reporting rules, or China's financial reporting rules, or Canada's. Managerial accounting is a little more flexible. Management accounting is focused on the future. We're making decisions that impact the future, where financial accounting is getting the history right and then providing it to external users. This is what we did last quarter. This is what we did last year. And we're in compliance with generally accepted accounting principles, and you can rely upon the accuracy of what I'm giving you. Management accounting is, hey, if we do X, then we expect Y to happen. And our level of certainty will range from low certainty to higher certainty, but never absolute certainty. And financial accounting is really very structured, right? We're going to provide the 10Q and the 10K quarterly and annually. Managerial accounting is really done as needed by the organization. And so in management accounting also has to consider both financial and non-financial information. Okay, so we'll talk about the plan and control functions, and we'll also look at the role of finance and accounting in organizations can really be quite broad. Big organizations, Fortune 50, Fortune 500 companies, the CFO is going to have a lot of responsibility on his or her plate. They're going to have both managerial and financial accounting, but they'll also have treasury and taxation and internal audit. They might also have risk management. They might also have facilities and IT. So there's a lot that financial people, particularly at senior management levels, get to do. So here's some definitions around the different roles and responsibilities. The other thing that comes into play is the code of ethics. Every profession has a code of ethics, including management accounting. So among them is that we remain competent, that we keep things confidential, that we have integrity, so that when we provide information, it's what we believe is the best information available, and we remain objective, right? So we're kind of like the referee on the floor. All right, so let's take a little more look at what is in the textbook for Chapter 1. That's kind of my view of where we're going, but now let's take a look at Chapter 1.